Hello and welcome everyone. It is Monday and it is a good day. I'm sure you all woke up and were like, at least on my side of the world, you're probably like, what the F happened? And I can tell you what's going on right now. It is pretty interesting. And so yeah, let's jump right into what's going on. Hi Daryl, Olaf, Eric and Fami. Hope everyone's doing really well. If you're watching on YouTube, do come online and say hello, what's going on. And if you're watching on Facebook, as some of you guys have already started to do, come and say hi, how's it going, and so on. Now, I'm sure all of you were like, what the F happened? Even myself, I woke up this morning, I had some long positions in Ethereum and Litecoin and in Bitcoin that were kind of sideways all day yesterday, and I didn't really know where they were gonna go. I figured, let's go to sleep and we'll see what happens. And something that's really cool is when I go to sleep and wake up, generally there's very, very big moves in the market, either up or down. So it's something that I've noticed and it's pretty cool and awesome to see. And yeah, it was a really cool waking up to another pump. Good morning, Carl. Good morning, Femi, and good morning, Olaf. I guess you guys are over in the UK, so it's still the morning time. Over in my time, it is about 5 p.m. Probably in the US, if you guys are watching there, it'll be early in the morning. So welcome everyone to a live feed with AMA, which means ask me anything and don't be shy. So we're just gonna jump into a lot of the news and stuff that's been happening, as well as my own analysis of what's going to happen with the Litecoin situation. I've exposed a scam that a lot of people are talking about right now as this big new thing, and I want to share that with you. How to tip on Brave. They started opening tipping and advertisements to get paid for, which is really cool. And then we're going to look a little bit at the Bitcoin price, the Ethereum prices, and where it potentially could go either up or down. And let's get started. So good morning everyone. We're just going to start with BitMEX and how, you know, Arthur Hayes is obviously a very big baller in the space, has about $26,000, about $200 million worth of Bitcoin in their fund from just fees alone. It is insanity, but at least if they got hacked, they have a lot of money to pay out if anything goes wrong. That's their own SAFU fund. Now, Bitcoin's giant, Bitfinex, and BitMEX, all these guys came out and they said they're returning signs of the bull market. Now, the reason why he said that, and even I agree, is $1 billion of Leo token was generated from you know, whales and some smaller $1 million investors, and they raised $1 billion in like 2 weeks. So it came up. I even could have bought it within an exclusive group that I'm in, and I was like, no way, man, it's $1 billion. There's no way it's gonna do well, and it's already like $1.60, so it's like literally like 60% up from the buy-in price. It's pretty crazy. And there's a lot of other signs. Obviously we see Bitcoin pumping, you know, and we've seen it kind of just pushing forward, but there's a lot more to it than that. Here's a really interesting statistic that I found. Now, we all know that, you know, all-time high in addresses can be interesting, but here's the really interesting part. This all-time high right there was the end of 2017, which means that there were about 2.75 million addresses that had Bitcoin in them, which had 0.1 Bitcoin in each of those addresses. Now, obviously that dropped off. A lot of people fell off, and now we're actually been running up, and now we're actually at a new all-time high for addresses that have Bitcoin at 0.1 BTC in them at least. So good job, Nick Carter, noticing that. But here's what's also very interesting about it. Now, people have asked me recently, Joel, how did you know April was going to be the start of the bull run? Joel, how did you know that we were at the bottom? And the thing that I kept telling them was, number one, no one was talking about crypto. Number two, every conference I went to, I pretty much knew everybody there. Number three, just everything seemed super dead and quiet. And that's not even including the charts were super, like, you know, they were oversold. Like almost everything was oversold. Everything was kind of dying. And you know, around January, February, I started saying like April looks like we're going to pounce, but you know, we'll probably have a little alt season, which happened, and then we got there. So I'm not saying that I knew everything. I just started feeling that sentiment being so negative that we could have some positive movements in the market. Now, if you're watching this, guys, do smash up those likes if you're watching there on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, same idea, and share this to your own groups and stuff. There's no sound. Can you guys not hear me? Really? I can hear me when I turned on the sound, so just turn up your sound. I don't know why. And if you're having issues, go on to YouTube. I'll post the link right here so that you guys can get on and watch it from there if you're having any sound issues via Facebook. I'm not sure why the sound would not work, but I'll post this here just in case. So yeah, smash up the likes, guys. Give some likes, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so before, and let's continue on. Also, if you're watching on Facebook and you have a group that may benefit from watching this, awesome, let them know, share it away, great stuff. Moving on, this is a really cool thing. Now, I've always been a massive fan of NFL, and I played sports at a very high level for many years of my life. And I really love this sport. Now, Russell Okung, sorry, is, you know, he is a really big NFL player, but a really big proponent of Bitcoin. And now he started this movement in Pay Me in Bitcoin, which now Matt Barkley's also got a mining revolution. And there's a lot of people in the sports world that are starting to take on to this. Not only that, we see the same thing in the music industry. 50 Cent got paid like 5,000 Bitcoins. He didn't even know what they were. He didn't remember about it. That happened last year. So lots of really cool stuff going on. You're going to see more and more players going on to do this. And what's really cool is Pomp gets in on this. He says NFL quarterback Matt Barkley tried to get the San Francisco 49ers and Cincinnati Bengals to pay his contracts in Bitcoin. Neither would do it. Matt is just one of many Bitcoiners that are playing in the NFL on Sundays, and there's going to be more and more. As you guys see the hype cycles coming back, people are saying, when are we going to go to the moon? People are showing off Lambo pictures. And another thing you have to take into consideration is all the car pictures, all the memes that are coming out. I've posted some really funny ones. If you're watching on Facebook, just go to t.me/Athena Project. I'm just going to type that in here so that you guys can go check out the group that we have. I like to post some funny memes in there if you like to have a laugh every now and then. So moving on, if only there was a way to get paid as an NFL player. Now, obviously, you know who this man is. Peter Brandt came out and he said that the FOMO phase of the advance, once the majority of sold out crypto bulls capitulate and chase this rally a bit more, sizable correction will likely occur. I've shown this an image in my group, but I could not get it to show it easily on this video. So go into the group, go back into the shared media. I posted a chart that shows every single bullish movement that ever happened in crypto, for Bitcoin at least, that's ever happened. And in the really interesting thing is we're at about 178%, 179%. The biggest movement ever before a 30% correction in Bitcoin was 226%, I believe it was, or 228. So we could move more. People are talking about that 9 to 10K, 11K range. So just keep that in mind, that it's there, and it's something that you should be, you know, wary and notable about. Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, guys, I'd love your questions. If you have any, do throw them in the chat. I'd love to answer all of them. So Brandt thinks we're gonna catch a next hype cycle, maybe to that 10,500 range, maybe to the 9,000 range, and then we should see a 30% correction, which would mean, very simply through math, if we hit 10K, we'll go back down to 7K, which will be wave 1, wave 2, and then wave 3 will bring us a lot higher, but that might take until October or November, which I've also told many of my group members. Now, this is something that I posted on my Twitter. If you don't watch, if you aren't on Twitter, just go at Joel Kofshoff and find me. I posted this on Twitter yesterday. Yesterday I was showing what Litecoin's halving has done in the past. So this is Litecoin USD on Bitfinex. This was about 45 days before the actual halving, which is the second line here. So as you see, the first line, you see we had a nice big run up. We're seeing very similar things now, and I'm gonna show you what I saw and what I think will happen with the halving for Litecoin this time. So we see that there was a nice run up, then there was a bigger run up, and then about 44 to 45 days before the halving, it started to fall, and then it kind of went down a bit and you know, stabilized. This is to US dollar, but when we look at it on another idea, we see that against BTC it fell a hell of a lot more. So we saw that actually at the top 44 days before, 45 days before, it was down 60.8% from the top. So something to keep note of. If you see Litecoin moving, that's great, but personally I'm going to be out of Litecoin about 45 days, a month and a half before the actual movement happens itself, just to be safe. And if it keeps going up, the only thing I lost was potential gains. And in trading, when you should all know is potential gains, loss is never a loss. Loss of capital is the worst thing that could happen. So play it safe, okay? And don't lose potential gains by watching it go back down. If you haven't learned from 2017, 2018, now is a great time to remind you of what it felt like when you saw your stack go high to low. And now you know what it feels like. So just be prepared. Don't do anything based off what I'm saying, but be prepared for what's going to come and happen. And then last but not least, I just want to go to this next one, is what I think is going to happen personally. So this mark that I have right here is about 45 days before the halving. Right now, it's quite funny because we pretty much touched R3 today. We're at $120 about that right now. And so we could see it move up a lot more. If we look at our past, we see that we're maybe on that first or second wave up. We should have wave 3 and 4, and probably have a big wave 5 down. Maybe you can count this as wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, and then down. But we're gonna see it come back down. I assume back to that $60-$70 range. And this is just a prediction. I could be absolutely wrong, but this is what's happened in the past. So just something to take note of. Another thing I posted today that was kind of funny, I got a little bit of love from that, is this is what I'm thinking is going to happen in terms of the market. So first, retails buy into Bitcoin. CNBC pumps it, says it's going to go to the moon. Real traders start to exit their positions. Retail start to FOMO in and buy at the closer to the top. It starts to keep moving a bit more. And then real traders start to short Bitcoin, which then wrecks retail, and then real traders will buy Bitcoin again. This is something that we'll see as a pattern that will happen. So be careful. Richard, nice to see you. What's happening with BTC? It's going a little bit more bullish, and this is kind of a good overview of what I think will happen. We'll have FOMO come in soon. I've seen so many groups, and look for sentiment, which means when you look around the markets and people start talking really bullish about Bitcoin. The next Litecoin halving is August 6th, Daryl. So August 6th is when you should look for that halving to happen. But man, again, this is a prediction I made, guys, so don't take it to heart. It could be something completely different, and you need to watch the charts and do TA to make sure what exactly will happen. But usually in markets, things repeat themselves, and Litecoin is 5x what it was at the bottom almost right now. So it's something just to keep note of, that it's gone a really nice run. And so August 6th is that date. Now, continuing on, I found a little bit of a scammy project called Carrot Bars. Now, Carrot Gold, it's called Carrot Gold Coin. You can't find these guys pretty much anywhere. So what I'm saying is you can't really find a really active Telegram group, a really active Facebook group. You can find a lot of shilly people not realizing that it's an MLM, and I'm really here to cautious you on the next BitConnect that is coming out. Here's why I'm going to say that, because people said like I was wrong. Now here's this. I guarantee that everyone will receive 1 gram of gold for 100 Carrot Bars each on Independence Day on July 4th. Okay, what that means is they're going to pay you about 5x what that's worth, what their Carrot Bar is worth right now. And anyone, as we all know, these guys have said that they have more gold in a vault and shown some kind of shady video of this, that they have more gold than some whole entire countries in Africa have in their whole vault. Do you really believe this? I know a real project called Gold Bits, and they're backed by huge VC funds like Platinum VC and Plutus VC. And that's a real project. They know the gold's real. They've been in the vault. They've seen it. But these guys are showing pictures, and it's kind of looking really shady. If it's real, I'm sorry, Carrot Bars, but it just seems like there's something really off about it. So I'm cautioning all of you guys that this could be it could be a potential scam. These guys have been around for a long time, and there is very low activity in their movements. be careful, please, okay? I don't want to see anyone else get bit connected. I don't want to see people get scammed or screwed, and that could easily happen. I mean, look at this. This is from October 25th, 2018, and it only has 566 claps. If this was a real project with real gold, it would have thousands and thousands of claps for sure. I mean, 10 people could have pretty much done all of those with just doing an applause. Next thing. The SEC is final, and beyond KYC, the regulators are actually getting ready to adopt tough new rules for crypto exchanges. And the reason why they're going to do this is quite simple. They are sick and tired of seeing this BS keep coming out with these exchanges taking advantage of people. So why do they want to do this financial action task force? Well, it's really to set an international standard for crypto regulation. And guess what? I made a video a long time ago in 2017 and had many people hate on me hard for saying crypto needs regulation. Do you still agree that that is not the case? Or do you feel right now that this is probably a really good thing for the world to have some regulation in this industry with big players coming in, and a lot of big movements will probably be happening in the next 6 to 12 months? Keep your eyes on that. More regulation, more standardized ways of doing things, the more safe it is, the less scammy that the industry will be. And that's what we really, really need. We need something. And yes, there'll be scams still because there are in stock still, but it will fix a lot of the problems of the industry where I literally just don't trust anyone anymore. Someone messaged me on Telegram. I'm asking them 40 questions. Even if they've met me before, I'm making sure that that's really them. That's the kind of stuff going on. I have 4 imposters on Telegram, for God's sakes. It's nuts. Now, continuing on, this is something really cool. So let's flip the script, do something more positive. So Brave browser, if you guys don't use it, I can't use it when I do a live feed because of one reason. It turns black on the screen and I can't show you anything. So I'm sure they'll work on that, but I wanted to show you a really cool thing about Brave. Now, if you haven't had or used Brave, download the browser, go to brave.com, download it. But the cool thing is you can become a creator. So if you're someone who uses Twitter a lot, and you really enjoy it, and you have friends that always like your stuff, and maybe people want to tip you, you can actually start getting tipped using Reddit Twitter. Reward Twitter, sorry. And this is really cool because it'll add this little feature you see right here. And if you see a really cool post, you can tip that person with Brave browser tokens, with basic attention token. And that's a really cool, you get a choice. And also if you're watching YouTube, and I'm not saying you have to tip me, but I'm just saying if you watch a really cool creator and you like their stuff, maybe you could give them a tip too. So it's a pretty cool little feature. And let's say you have a favorite streamer or favorite podcast or anything like that that's on YouTube or on Twitter, you can actually then connect those people and send them a browser tip. And yourself, if you have a business that people use, you can also do this really cool thing where you can go on and get paid for people visiting your website for the traffic. So it's also really interesting. And if you have favorite websites that you like, you can send the websites directly a tip quite easily. Now I'll try to make a video with my screen capture on next so that I can show you guys how to do that later. Okay, moving on to another positive piece of news. If you haven't seen this, Verasity and Binance Chains announced a strategic partnership. Now what does that mean? It means that CZ likes the technology that Verasity has, which links into YouTube, links into Vimeo, and a couple other different big players like Twitch, and lets you reward, again, similar to Brave, but lets you reward your content creators directly. CZ actually endorsed it as well, so he's saying he really likes the technology that Verasity has. And if you guys don't know, this is one of the first projects I've ever worked with in this crypto industry, because I believe that they have something really cool, and they'll be on the decks first and then probably move on to a bigger, into the bigger ecosystem of Binance Chain's Binance system. And now they also can be done on YouTube, Video.js, JW Player, Kalutra, Vimeo, and Twitch very easily. And then you can adopt and pay people that you watch online, and it's a really cool tech. Now, This is something I want to teach you guys about, and something you have to learn if you're going to trade. So this is one of the things you want to maybe pay attention to. I will post all these links into the bottom of the video on YouTube. If you don't look on YouTube, join me. It's Athena Education on YouTube, and you can find me very easily. Now, this is a really cool tool. This is called the altcoin market cap. Now, this is what's really interesting about it. It does not show, it shows you against Bitcoin the whole entire market cap, okay? So as you can see yesterday, if you were watching on April 1st and you saw Bitcoin started to pump, would it have been a smart thing to go into altcoins at that point? Probably not. Because against altcoins, Bitcoin crushed it by 34%. Now, does that mean you could lose money or not make any? No, but it's something to take note of. Now, if we're looking on the daily, it's kind of harder to see. But if we look on the 2 hours, we can start seeing some trends that pop up. Like, when does Bitcoin pump? So on the 14th of May, would have been a bad time to buy altcoins. And yesterday, it started to drop. And that would have been a bad time to buy altcoins, because against altcoins, Bitcoin dominated by almost 3%. So it means that if you were in altcoin trades and you were in the wrong ones, you would have lost a lot of potential profit. This is a really cool tool to use when you're looking at entering an altcoin trade, because if you see that we're on a downtrend, it might not be a good time to get in. And you can look at even on a 30-minute scale to really see a time frame, to really see where we're actually at. It's something interesting to look at. I don't know why it's not loading. There we go. So it's something interesting to look at. So if you see that you got a red bar here, you may want to wait for some stability before entering an altcoin. Now, what is going to happen with Bitcoin? So we got the Ichimoku open on a 4-hour, and we're looking at what exactly happened. Well, it seems that we had a nice bounce yesterday. No one really had a prompt for why this happened, but this is why we use volume. Okay, so when volume is very low and price starts to rise, that's something that is interesting. Now, when you see the volume start to pump, it obviously is going to create the volume. Volume is a very great indicator for knowing when we're going to pump. So last night around, I think it was around 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning my time, we started to see this like 10% pump. Now, if Bitcoin pumps 10%, it means that altcoins suffer. Make sure that you understand that when you're trading in crypto, that if Bitcoin is pumping and you're trading BTC pairs, BTC will stop you out on a lot of your calls. Is that a problem? No, it shouldn't be, because if you're not stopping out, you're going to be left holding a bag, especially when BTC finds its, it finds its support, at that $8,700 range, and you were down at the $7,900 range when you started. Keep that in mind. It's really, really important. Now, if we go into the 1 hour, you can see kind of what happened. We had the Kujin Tekken cross, so the KT cross, and usually when we see that, it's a little bit before this happens. So if you see the cross happen here, and then you start to see the volume come in, it's hard to see here, but if you could see the volume come in after that, then we know that we're probably going to see some movement. So I would have you would have looked to enter after you started to see, a nice green candle. When that closed, I would have probably gone into that trade. Something to think about. Then also our RSI was nice and low and hooking up. So it looked like a good time to enter. Also, if you can see the MA right here, this line, let me just make it nice and yellow so you can all see it. You can see that also that upticked, which means that the volume was moving up, not down. So we could see that, yes, is probably a good entry point onto Bitcoin. Now, where is Bitcoin going to go? So let's look at our pivot points. It gives us a good example of where we might be going next. So pivot points you can draw very easily, but I suggest when you do pivots, you use Fibonacci. So input Fibonacci as your base point, and don't show historical because it makes the chart really busy. And like you guys see, my chart's nice and clean, so it's easier to see what's going on. Okay, so what we're looking at here is quite simple. We're seeing that we have a few zones that we could have resistance. So we hit the resistance at 88, 8,900 and bounce back down. If we break through this resistance right here, we will see a couple different things. The first thing we'll see is a bounce up to here at the 9,100, very likely a test. And then we will see a movement up towards R3. Now R3 is at 97.24. We could go higher than that. If we use a larger time frame, it might be quite a bit higher than that, and I don't know exactly when. That's the problem that you always have in crypto or in trading. You don't know exactly when this will happen, but it will probably be likely to happen. Now, why you watch for sentiment? Sentiment matters a lot because of a few things. Number one, when sentiment gets too high, when everyone's talking about crypto and everyone's saying, yeah, we're going to go crazy, we're going to move up, we're going to keep making money, all that stuff, you have to be extremely, extremely cautious, okay? And the reason why you have to be extremely cautious of all that, because when everyone's talking about crypto, someone is getting ready to sell. Athena takes all this into account and sends signals to take action immediately, or an individual take action based on signal in regard to BTC pumping. Okay, so the way that Athena has been set up, Troy, is a really good question. We set it up with a dynamic stop loss. What that means is if you, let's say you guys are in a trade right now and your trade is up 10% and your stop loss is, let's say your stop loss is 8% and you're up 5%. If the market starts to fall really quick, you will sell at 3%. So you have a dynamic stop loss that every 0.5% your actual calls go up, it moves your stop loss up. So you mitigate risk. On the other end, what we've created is a way to do trailing your profit. So if you're using dynamic stop and we have something like this happen, you may lose a little Satoshis, but not everything, and not as bad as you could have lost if you were in a bunch of trades, right? We try not to keep too many trades open for this reason. And you as the user can also not turn on auto trading and turn it off and just use it yourself with your own trade. So we made it really easy for anyone to use it for whatever way they want to use it. So the key point here is this: risk reward. I could go 40 out of 100 trades and still make profit every month. You're probably asking, how is that possible? Well, if my risk reward is set properly and I have a 2-to-1 risk reward, so let's say I take profit at 10 and my stop loss is maybe 5 or 6, what happens is as those calls move up, the stop loss gets lower and lower, so my risk reward goes up, right? Now, if it dumps really fast and I lose that 3%, 2%, 4% versus 5 or 6, I actually lose a lot less profit because it trailed the stop loss. Now, on the other end, if I hit my 10% gain and it's starting to break out like we can see here, where let's say I called it down here and this call, using as an example, let's say I called it down here and we hit 10%, but it's still breaking out, right? What Athena will do is if you put it, let's say a 2% stop loss and it broke out to 18%, when it drops 2%, it will sell. So it might be selling at 15 or 16%. The whole idea is I could call 40 or even 35 calls well and have 15 to 20% on those calls, and all the other ones could stop out and we would still end the month in plus percentage. So it's really about the managing of your risk and reward, and we do at Athena teach education, so that's really important as well. So I just want to break that all down. Okay, one more thing I want to look at ETH. Anyone else have any coins that you want to look at? Just let me know before we go, and we'll get started. So in Ethereum, we saw a massive pump the other day against ETH USD, but let's look at ETH M19 contracts on BitMEX. Looks very similar, doesn't it? All right, so we saw ETH hit like a very high. I mean, it pumped a massive amount all the way up about 30% over that time, but we'll go to a shorter time frame just to look at it in a little bit more on the shorter side. So what we can see here is that ETH has gone down to where it's lost value in Bitcoin. But watch this. If we do ETH to US dollars, you won't see the same thing. And this is why we always look at both USD and BTC, because BTC can outperform an asset and then you lose profits. So here's what we can see here. We have these bullish and bearish divergences. So we had a bullish divergence, which dropped us. We had a bearish divergence, sorry, then we had a bullish divergence here where you can see the price action is going up. So this is what a divergence looks like. Price action goes up, but price drops. Usually we can see a pump after those. And then the opposite, when we have price action going up, this is probably not the right time. Oh yes, here it is, this hidden divergence. So your price action going up, yet RSI is going down. It's a bearish divergence. So usually it leads to a dump, which we saw there. Now, looking at ETH, where are we going with it? So right now we have a nice bull flag that's formed here. Just going to draw it nice and quick for everyone. So we have a nice bull flag that's going, and we're looking to close above that to go to our next range at the 274. Now, it's very possible that we dump down from that range here and go all the way down to our pivot point right here at 266 before our next movement. So what we're waiting for is to see when this closes. So what I mean by closes is, you see how there's a timer here, 28 minutes, 26 seconds. So if this bar closes above that, that would be a very bullish sign. But right now I've drawn that incorrectly. We have to do top to top. There. So we're waiting to see if one of these closes above. And if it closes above, we should see it move. But it's looking like it might close below, which would lead us, as I shown you here, down to our pivot point below before our next move up. Okay, so that's what's going on with ETH. I'm expecting it to drop a little bit, or if it goes below this bull flag, it should be bullish though, but we'll see. But if it drops below and closes below, we likely could see 260 again before a movement to 275. Question. Okay, AGI. Let's take a look at Singularity. All right, so it's had a nice movement up. It's coming back down quite hard. Let's look if we see any divergence on here. It's moved down. It's not really doing very much of anything, to be completely honest. It's below the Kujin, below the Tekken. Let's look on a larger time frame. The volume is quite low on the small time frame, but on the larger time frame, it's having a fight between bulls and bears, as you can see with the spinning tops there. But it's really looking like this is a bear flag right here. I don't know. It's probably going to test this 522 sat mark again before it will go up, but it may still go back down. We don't know for sure. I can't tell you 100% beyond a reasonable doubt. Now looking over at Telcoin. Telcoin's an interesting one. I've had a bunch of it for quite a long time. It hasn't really done very much, to be honest, except for go down, as we can see, but it did have a nice pump over in March there. Now it's not looking too good, completely honest, on this weekly. On our weekly here, it's testing the support, which means it's trying to come back to its but it's not looking very good. Let's look on the 1 hour to see where we're at. On the 1 hour, yeah, same thing. It doesn't have very much there's no real price action. We're kind of stuck in this box right here, so I'll just draw that for you real quick. We got this price action stuck in this box here, so it's, it's kind of a boring coin right now. It's between, we're bouncing around in the support resistance zone around 15% up and down. Not much going on there yet. I would look for a close above the pivot point to see if we are changing in trend. Also look for a cross here, but there's not much resistance, but there's not much volume either. So, I mean, your volume is quite low. Something also to keep in mind. Dogecoin, that's a really interesting one because it does have these crazy movements that happen all the time. Again, it's sitting on its support right here. There's volume for sure. You can see the volumes there, but let's look on a longer time frame to see. Yeah, it's been on this downtrend. Here's the thing, guys. When you're in a downtrend, don't go against the trend. If something looks like it's continually staying on a downtrend, don't go against it. I'm going to show you guys something right now, a little strategy that you can use to know what trend it is on. You choose a MA and you go to 200, and you see what's the trend right now. Now, when this line, this orange line, let's make it a different color. Let's make it into a blue color. Okay, so when this blue line is above the price action, you're in a downtrend. You can see just the blue line, it is on a downtrend. I would stay away from it for now until you see something change over. The RSI is really low. It's not really, it's hooking down on a 4 hour, so it doesn't really look like anything's happening with Dogecoin. I would avoid it for now, to be completely honest. Matic is an interesting one. It already went 11x. And I've already drawn this for my group, my VIP group that we have. So this is something that I've done for them, just so you guys can check it out. There is some points where we're going to see Matic trying to move. We have our pivot points already set, and here's the interesting part. It's kind of like chilling around this support here, which is around 271 sats, but I expect it to look for a buy in this zone right here. So the zone is between 250 and 231 is the first one. The second zone I would look to buy in is at 161 to 150 ish, 146-ish range. And the reason why I'm saying that is nothing goes this parabolic and stays that parabolic. It's gone beyond the 50% retrace, and very likely it will come down to, at very least, this 618, which is at the 244 range. So it's something we're to look at. If you're looking at Matic, look for that range to look for a possible entry in that. Oh, 10:30 p.m. Monday night. Well, it's perfect. You're probably just relaxing at home, aren't you, Penny? Hope you're doing really well. And so that's where we're at with Matic. As you guys know, Fetch, Matic, all these coins had a huge pump. So be really careful using them right now. This did cross below the 200 MA, so it could come back down to 1788. And the volume started to taper off as well. We do have a... here we have a bullish divergence actually forming right there. So we have this movement right here versus this movement right there. No, it's not even really a bearish. No, it's not. It's just boring at this point. Oh, did I just delete that by accident? Oh, let me just add it right back. Hold on a second. Okay. So Fetch, any of the coins that you see right now, there's a lot of them that aren't doing really well. And let me just do this last one, T-Fuel. T-Fuel already had a really, I don't know if it's got there. Okay, T-Fuel, it's so new, it's really hard to do any analysis on a coin that's been around for like hours pretty much. But let's just have a quick look and see where it potentially could go. Even Ichimoku doesn't have much for it on the hourlies. It's kind of hard to tell. I would look for a bounce down to where it started. It started from the bottom, now we hear type of deal. The volume's tapered quite off. There's not even a 200 MA. It's really hard to call where T-Fuel would be going. So that's, unfortunately, I can't really give you too much intel on that coin. One of the ones that I had my eye on recently is Litecoin. It looks like we're going to high cap coins that are going to start, and Litecoin's broken that downtrend. It's moving up. So we'll see. Like, it's trying to hit this first target at 13,300, and we'll just keep our eyes on Litecoin. Keep your eyes as well on ADA. It's been looking quite much like a downtrend, but look for it to cross back above this trend here. And when you do, it'll be a good idea to look at that 1040 range to potentially get in. If you don't know how to do this, if you don't use TradingView, right click, add an alert, and add an alert around that 1040 range, so you know when it crosses over to look at that and go, maybe it's a good entry. Gas, I'll give you a quick one on Gas too. Gas and Neo generally work together. I posted a thing on I think on Twitter yesterday about how there's certain coins that have relationships with each other, so they're kind of like boyfriend and girlfriends. Now you can see here where Gas is definitely above that 200 MA. It's had a huge pump, and it looks like it had a huge dump in the last couple hours. So I wouldn't probably touch Gas right now, to be completely honest. It still is in an uptrend, but very possibly could bounce down from there. And it did touch the top of the cloud, and now it's come back down. Looking at this a little closer, just give me a sec. Yeah, it doesn't really look too extremely bullish right now at all. Let's look on a larger time frame. Yeah, so when we look on the larger time frame, it's still really, it's tried to here cross the 200 MA, but it's not really there. It's in the cloud, which could go edge to edge, which is from this point to that point. But let's keep our eye on it. It does have a little bit of an uptrend coming now. So RSI is angled up. So yeah, Neo and Gas are great. They're definitely brother and sister, as we like to call it. So as you can see, Gas is at 370. And Neo should be about 4 times that. It's a little bit more than 4 times that, so it's something also to keep in notice that Neo probably will come down, or Gas will start to go up. Neo's testing the support line at the S1 right here, so first support line, and it's very flat on the RSI. It's not really doing too much. There was a little bit of volume, but the volume went up and the price action didn't really go up with it, so not too excited about Neo either. Anyways, it's been a long time. I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys again this week, probably tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I'm gonna try and come on every single day for at least a short one. Maybe not always AMAs, but get on here more often. One thing I want you guys to do, I've done a really cool video on Coinbase Commerce, do check that out. It's a really, really cool tool that you can use in your regular business every single day, and you can get paid in cryptocurrencies. So just look at that as well. Apollo doesn't look like, oh yeah, Apollo. I told so many of my friends to stay away from that. Unfortunately, not many listen to me, but you know, what's Apollo's, oh, that's my fault. I don't know how to spell. Apollo BTC. I don't see it anywhere on here. Oh, it's not on a crypto exchange that, I don't think it's on an exchange that actually has TradingView. But yes, look at Coinbase Commerce, guys. Check out the UND interview I did. It's really cool. If you guys have businesses right now, they're really awesome because they can integrate your business in without knowing anything about blockchain. Your databases, your SQLs, everything can be uploaded. They can use whatever blockchain you want. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. It's been quite a while. It's been nice to see everybody here. I'll just look at APL quickly if I can, if it's on here. No, it's not on. It's not on TradingView. It means it's probably not. It's probably not on a big enough exchange, or not an exchange that has a partnership with TradingView. But yeah, well, I'll try to take a look at that another time. But yes, click on that subscribe, like, smash up the likes, and share this to anyone who you think would find any value in it. I'll see all you guys tomorrow. Have yourselves a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Coach K signing out. See you guys tomorrow.